Oh! Huh? Hey, I'm up, I'm up. Oh. Hey, rise and shine, everybody. Huh? Zack Snyder? Nolan? Martin Scorsese? Uncle Spielberg? Hey, where is everybody? We're gonna miss migration. Illumination made a mediocre movie. They do this every year. Why? Doesn't anybody love me? Isn't there anyone who cares about Luke the film boss? Well, fine, I'll just watch Aquaman 2. Sick. Hey, wide body, curb it next time. You've done it again, Illumination. You have proven that you are the studio of minions and mediocrity. Don't get me wrong, Migration never needed to be some cinematic masterpiece, but I was hoping for something a little more, something special, not something that regurgitates other ideas, but worse. A good comparison here is Finding Nemo, which is a straight up masterpiece. Now, I wasn't expecting Migration, by comparison, to be as good as any Pixar movie, although it was better than a few that I can name. But I didn't need a Pixar-level quality film. I just wanted a quality Illumination film. And there are some quality elements here. The pacing is pretty solid. The animation is generically really good. The writing and the jokes are generically funny. The characters are generic and likable. The movie is generic and fun. I think you can see the pattern here. Migration is a solid movie. It's an acceptable, consumable film. And that's where Migration fails cinematically. Although Illumination doesn't have a great track record with making very artistic films, there was at least something unique and distinguishable about each film. Despicable Me had the minions, the villain rivalries, and they shrink the moon for Pete's sake. The Secret Life of Pets had pets living a double life and discovering a secret pet underworld. Sing had animals competing in an X Factor style competition, and Dr. Seuss's The Lorax had Danny DeVito playing a furry orange peanut with a mustache. Wait, Danny DeVito is in Migration? Huh. Yeah, 2 more points for that, I guess. The only thing to describe Migration is ducks. Literally, the characters, the plot, it's all just ducks flying around. And if the writing would have been a little bit more risky, a little bit more emotional and compelling, this would have been alright. Like I said earlier, a good comparison for Migration plot-wise and thematically is Finding Nemo. But the more I think about it, Migration feels more like a cheap ripoff of Finding Nemo than an actual competitor. Thematically, the movie is about an overly protective father who goes out into the world and finds his courage and learns that he doesn't have to shelter and hide his children from the world in order to keep them safe. The problem is that there's really no reason for the duck father in this movie to be overly protective. In Finding Nemo, we see Marlin lose his wife and almost every single one of his hundreds of kids to a murder. So it really makes a lot of sense that Marlin would want to protect his last living child who has a disabled fin. In Migration, the father, Mac, has his wife and both of his children and they are all unharmed. The only reason he doesn't want to go out into the world is because he's ignorant, cowardly, and likes the comforts of the pond. The only reason Mac takes his family on a migration trip is because he has an even greater fear than the unknowns of the world. He has the idea that if he stays in the pond, he might end up like Uncle Dan. That is the most irrational fear ever, not to mention the dumbest, albeit pretty funny motivation for an entire movie plot. In Finding Nemo, Marlin braves his fears and goes out into the world because his son gets kidnapped. I'm not saying that Migration should have copied everything from Finding Nemo, but I find it funny and ironic with how many similarities there are that Migration wouldn't have copied what actually made Finding Nemo a compelling story. The movie gives itself no time to say something important. Even at the end, when they try to have a scene where the son proves to his father how much more he is than his father thought him to be, it doesn't work because there's actually no time spent developing the character relationships. They're just kind of flying together throughout the whole movie, fight an evil chef who's trying to cook the ducks, and then fly to Jamaica. What could have been a meaningful story about protecting your family without having to shelter them and learning to have faith in your children and let them grow ends up becoming an empty film about some ducks getting lost in the city, trying not to get cooked by a chef, and going to Jamaica. It's cute, it's funny, it's safe to take the kids to. These are all good things, and I did like the movie, but at the end of the day, it's one of the most generic, pointless, most meaningless movies that I've seen from Illumination, let alone some other studios. I am Luke Film Boss, and I give Migration a 65% in quality and enjoyment for an overall score of 65%. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help you be on the lookout for more videos from Luke Film Boss.